hunting,
fishing,
cooking,
camping,
conservation,
travel,
gardening,
photography, family.
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 This is the Outdoor Ruhls podcast. Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Outdoor Ruhls podcast. Well, Mark, happened kind of the way I thought it would.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have been very busy beach vacationing, and what that means is that we did not record a podcast all week.
Yeah.
So here we are. It's the last morning. Mark's got a truck full of garbage. That's a long story. And we can't do anything else. So we thought we'd lay down a quick podcast. Caitlin's here.
Hi.
And Rachel.
Hey.
So what do you guys think? Pretty great week.
Absolutely.
Packed.
Yeah.
Loved it. Loved every minute of it.
I know. It's so funny. I feel like every time you do this, it's amazing when you start one of these weeks, you think, oh man, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And maybe we'll go to the aquarium in Virginia Beach and maybe we'll,
We're going to fly the drone from the boat.
Yeah. We're going to just feel like you're going to do everything. And then turns out there's not enough time to do a quarter of the stuff that you thought you were going to do. But
Or for Mark to wear a quarter of the fishing shirts that he packed.
Yeah. Apparently double packed t-shirts too.
yeah. Well, that's, you know what? I had 2 trips in a row where I forgot to pack underpants. So it's better to have too many fishing shirts than not enough underpants. I can tell you that.
Fair enough.
Twice I had to Uber myself to a Target to buy underwear. Once was in Pennsylvania when I came with Emmett. No, I guess I didn't have to Uber that time. Anyway, it's been a really, really nice trip. Rachel, set us up a little bit. Like, where exactly in the world are we?
We are in Cape Charles-ish, Virginia. We're only a couple miles away from there, and we absolutely love fishing this area. There's usually, a great assortment of fish, whether we're fishing under the Bay Bridge-Tunnel or out in the bay, but we got some new, for us, species on the boat this trip, so that was really exciting.
Yeah, in Cape Charles, we're on the very, very, very far southern tip of the Delmarva Peninsula, the eastern shore of the Chesapeake Bay. So far south, in fact, that we're probably actually closer to the Chesapeake Bay Bridge-Tunnel here than we are to the town of Cape Charles, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say.
This house that we're staying at, the way that we do these vacations is we kind of just pick a rental house that works for the number of people that we think are going to go and, look for kind of the best combination of amenities that we can find. And this one is just about, a mile north of Chesapeake State Park?
Yeah. I mean, if anybody's familiar with the area, I'm sitting out over your left shoulder, or your right shoulder, looking at the concrete ships that sit out just from Chesapeake State Park.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're probably a mile and a half.
And then once you get south of Chesapeake State Park, basically you hit the Chesapeake Bay Bridge-Tunnel, which I know that we've talked about just a little bit in the past. But Mark, lay that out. What's the Bay Bridge-Tunnel?
Well, it's a 13 or 18. I always get that confused.
I thought it was in the 20 mile.
Yeah, it's basically goes from the tip of the Delmarva Peninsula to Norfolk, Virginia Beach area. It's a section of bridge, then a tunnel, then it comes out of a tunnel that where they manufactured islands for these tunnels to come out, and then sunk tubes. And there's 2 sections of tubes and 3 sections of bridge. And basically that allows all these big barges to come up the Chesapeake that are going to Baltimore, the big shipping hubs, Baltimore and DC.
Yeah. So it is a very interesting roadway across the water. And the point of the tunnels, as you said, is to allow shipping traffic to go over instead of having to build a bridge a tall bridge. Most of the bridge is 20 feet off the water?
Yeah, I would say.
And so too low for container ships and heavy ships to go through. So you would either have to build high span sections of the bridge for ships to go under, or what they did here was build tunnels so the ships go over. And the fishing here is interesting for two real reasons, I think. One, it is where this extraordinarily nutrient-rich and diverse estuary and ecosystem of the Chesapeake Bay meets the Atlantic Ocean. Mm-hmm. And then also because the bridge itself, the pilings on the bridge, and then the islands around the tunnels provide structure that otherwise wouldn't be here,
right,
for fish to hang out around. So that structure does a couple things. One, provides sort of a basis for an ecosystem. Barnacles and mussels and all kinds of other stuff grow on the bridge pilings, and then little fish hang around that, and then big fish hang around little fish. But then also, because that hard structure is there on an otherwise sandy bottom, you get like a washing effect as the tides go in and out. There's places where it digs holes and makes current breaks and does all this other stuff for fish to hide around and move through and feed in.
And when they do any sort of update on the bridge, when they knock that out, they just drop the concrete.
Yeah.
So there's sections where they replaced bridge, and it's just, we call it snaggy. We know we're going to do a drift. And one of our favorite ways to fish it is to take a high-low rig and drift. Start on the outside of the bridge and drift. Whichever typically, at whichever side is the top side of the tide is running.
Yeah. Run to the up tide side of the bridge.
And we do it a bunch of different ways, but you'll drift between those, two sections of bridge pilings, and there'll be times where we're like, all right, this is going to get snaggy, and there's times where 3 out of 4 people are hung up on the bottom, and we run back up, get them out, and then do the drift over
or rip them off.
Rachel's good at ripping them off.
Lies.
We lose a little gear here sometimes. That's okay. Now, this house that we stayed on, Caitlin, what's great about this place?
There's a lot of great things, but I think the ultimate positive thing about this house is that it's literally on the beach.
Yeah.
It may not be here in another 20 years on the beach.
Like if I owned it, I would be worried about
Yes.
that. But
when you stand on the balcony and look over, there's sand directly below you.
Yeah. It's so nice. Set of steps. And then the beach is really pretty nice here. Pretty clean sand once you get below the tide line. Wasn't too weedy or nasty most of the week. And then, once you're 20 yards out, it's like hip deep water. So pretty kid friendly.
Yeah, definitely. And the trips we've gone on, the best swimming access.
Yes, for sure. Previous houses, there's a lot of seawalls that divide it, so you can't really take nice long walks down the beach, but this house just has miles stretching out from either side.
Right. Or there would be like riprap that, you only have like 2 or 3 feet of beach.
So typically we don't have our houses, like being on the eastern shore, it's not known for beaches. The Chesapeake Bay is not really known for beaches. It's a lot of mud water and tidal creeks, what they call tidal creeks, and reeds and that real stinky
Salt marsh
mud. And so this house has been excellent as far as it's been. Again, on most of the beaches up here, if you go to a beach on this side, it's like a manufactured beach.
Right.
They pump sand into it, and this has really been quite nice for that.
Yeah.
A little different than what we're used to.
And we had, darn near the whole crew here. I think this house holds 16 people. And did we have 16?
And I think we got the 15 when Hunter was in.
we got the 15 staying here, and then Grant and Katie actually stayed in their camper at Chesapeake.
Right.
So
we would have had 16 had Addison been able to make it, but she couldn't.
right. So I mean, it was really awesome. Kate and Jed and Annie came. Obviously, Mima and Poppy were here. Matt was here with
3 of his 4.
Yeah, 3 of his 4 at one point. So we missed Addie. I don't think Addie listens to the podcast, but we missed you, Addie. Mark, what was the one drawback to this house?
There's 2 drawbacks.
Okay.
All right.
I've got one too.
That's one of my 2 probably. The first problem that we had to work out was when we got here. We found out that there was absolutely no way the boat was getting into this parking lot. So we ended up having to find a spot to take it and rent it, which worked out because Rachel and I have been talking about finding a parking spot down here for the boat in the summer anyway. That way we can just, run down on a Friday night, fish Saturday, fish a little bit Sunday, and then run home. So
You're cutting your story short a little bit. That was a long process. we talked to neighbors. Hunter called at least 10 places.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't say it was easy. And I didn't say I handled it well.
I think you handled it all right.
Yeah, I was pretty sassy there first spell. Most everybody else missed that.
You got to find these trips are always going to have some moments of drama. So I
Right.
feel like maybe we got that out of the way.
Beautifully chaotic is the way I would describe these trips.
It ended up giving us the parking spot for the boat. So
Yeah.
I think, it's one of those things that had to happen and had a good result at the end.
I mean, we were definitely planning to come down in September, and I think it worked out. The place we were keeping it was like $100 for the month. You could only rent month by month. It was $100 for the month, or like $225 for 4 months or something like that. So it works out. I mean, it's all good.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's the other drawback?
The lack of cast netting opportunities.
Oh, yeah.
No net fishing.
Sad Rachel noises.
Rachel loves to cast net, and if you're not familiar with this, did we talk about this recently? Yeah. It's a net that you throw or cast, and it's a round net. And boy, I mean, you hardly caught anything here, right?
Nope. The 2 minnows I saw, I caught. That's it.
Yeah. It's interesting here. I think one of the things about the beach being so nice here and the clean sand and the lack of grass and weed beds and mud is that we caught a few crabs throughout the week. I mean, but we had 4 traps out and we probably only caught 24 crabs throughout the whole week. So
I did catch a new species though.
Oh yeah.
In the cast net. Yeah.
What was that?
An iPhone. Specifically hunters.
Well, sort of. There was an incident with Hunter's iPhone ending up in a minnow bucket with the cast net.
Yeah. And the minnows and lots of salt water.
Oh, it wasn't good for the iPhone.
It wasn't.
No.
No.
It was the end of Hunter's iPhone.
Or Hunter and Matt when they weren't anticipating needing to go into Virginia Beach to get a new iPhone.
Yeah. Well, they got that sorted out. And actually, it was fine.
He needed a new one anyway, he said.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I just helped him along.
Yeah, I mean, Mark, is the boat parking situation here a fatal flaw for staying at this house?
No, I wouldn't say it's a fatal flaw. I mean, there's definitely now we found that there's a boat wash there. So it'd be nice to take 10 minutes and wash the boat every time we bring it back.
Yeah.
Because if you let it build up over a week, it's a giant pain. But if you wash it quick, just a quick wash down every time and a good wash at the end of the week, it's much better. It stinks hauling gear.
Yeah.
But no, it's not a fatal flaw by any means.
It stinks hauling gear, but I think it's a little bit like anything. Once you get a routine down with it, it felt like the first day or two, like it was a total pain. And then by the end of the week, it was routine and you blast through it pretty quick and it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I thought it'd be worse, you and myself. And once you figure out where stuff goes, sometimes it's one of those things where sometimes it's just like you can have, everybody wants to help and it's great, and I'm not complaining, but sometimes it's too many hands trying to do too much at once. So
into the fishing part of this, we talked about what the Bay Bridge Tunnel is and a little bit of how we fish around it. The other way that we fish the Bay Bridge Tunnel, or the other thing that I'm really failing at this. You were talking about the drift fishing.
Mm-hmm.
What are we generally targeting when we're drift fishing?
I mean, yeah. So when we're drift fishing, what you're hoping for, typically, I mean, mostly we're hoping for flounder. You will pick up redfish doing that, red drum. I've seen, there's times where we've caught triggerfish doing that, spadefish doing that. But mostly, we're looking for flounder.
And you talked about a high-low rig. Caitlin, describe the high-low rig.
Well, it's a rig with 2 hooks, and you bait both of them. I can't remember if it was the higher one or lower one that had more of like a jig head and a bucktail kind of.
Yeah, it's not a jig head. It's like a bucktail teaser. It's just no weight, and it's got a weight on the bottom. So we usually fish somewhere between 2 and 4 ounces of weight as an egg sinker on the bottom. And then what about baits?
We use squid and minnows.
Usually when we're
Squid on top, minnow on the bottom.
Yeah. And we're targeting flounder, but we catch all kinds of stuff.
That's the draw to this place to me is you're going to catch black sea bass, whiting, and you can go look. If there's something we name, it's probably because we have a name that they call it something else somewhere else. Like they call whiting sea mullet. They call them kingfish.
We call oyster cracker, and then other people call them what? Oyster toadfish?
Toadfish,
Yeah.
right?
Toadfish.
Yeah, oyster crackers. Both types of trout, weak fish, and spotted trout, bluefish, Spanish mackerel, which I've never seen caught on a high-low rig until we saw 2 caught this year.
Yeah.
Which makes excellent ceviche, by the way.
Apparently.
There you go. We learned something.
Black sea bass, did I say that?
I don't know.
I mean, it's just...
It's a potpourri of everything. The one thing we keep talking about, we used to occasionally pick up a triggerfish doing that, and then sometimes we would target them and catch triggerfish pretty good. Like even the first time or two you came, Caitlin, we caught a few triggerfish. Do you remember that?
I think so. And spades.
Yeah, and spadefish. Although the spadefish we usually have to target with real small hooks and like pieces of clam or something different. But we haven't seen a triggerfish.
Yeah, I don't... We were in July last year when we were down. I saw some triggerfish. We ran out to a reef out in the middle of the bay, and I saw spadefish there. I haven't seen a triggerfish in years and years now.
It's been 2019 was the year we hit them hard.
Yeah. But we also, the trip did shift. We used to kind of do it like the last week before the kids would have to go back to school.
Yep.
So 3rd week of August. And it's kind of moved because of sports, kids sports, Kelly, soccer. And I think with you guys, you guys start school
Yeah,
the second week
of August. Yep.
So we've shifted it. So I don't know if that plays into it. I don't know. It could be that they're only ever here for 3 weeks or 4 weeks and then they're gone. And we just were hitting it at that exact time. Or
Right.
if they're just not around like they used to be.
Right. And so we went out on the first day that we were here on Sunday. A whole bunch of us. I can't even remember who all went. Me and you and Matt and Dad
Rachel and
Rachel.
Hunter.
and Hunter.
We had a full boat.
And boy, we found it to be really, really tough.
Very tough.
So we do the drift fishing, and I'm going to get back to that in a sec. But we also go out and fish. I guess I'd call them various types of jigs with either crabs or mole crabs, sand fleas, other baits where we are actually throwing right at the pilings trying to catch sheepshead.
Typically, we try to look for a slack tide so you can hold to the piling and fish vertically.
Right.
Low flow or no flow.
Somebody operates the boat, very actively operates the boat, tries to hold you as close as you can to the columns, and you are trying to vertical jig with a crab or something to catch sheepshead. And they catch giant ones here.
Yeah, the world record's from here.
Is it?
Yeah, 18 pounds.
Jiminy Christmas. Yeah. The biggest one we've ever had was 10.
Right on 10.
It was,
which is citation, but I don't, we didn't go for sight.
Yeah.
We didn't go get it sight.
It was right before the boat broke.
No, we caught that one the first day.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
That's not how I remember it. Story's better.
Yeah.
So the day before the boat broke?
Yeah.
We fished 3 days.
The morning the boat broke, though, we were
hammering them.
Yeah.
We put 3 fish in the boat in like 15 minutes.
Right. Anyway, that's an aside. We did not catch a sheepshead on the trip.
I had one fish that I'm fairly confident was a sheepshead, fishing a specific rig that I've only ever caught tog and sheepshead on.
Yeah.
And mid-water column, he ran quite a bit of drag. I couldn't do anything with him, and he got me around a pillar, and
yeah,
that was it. I mean, if they get you wrapped around a pillar with all the barnacles that are on them,
yeah, you
pretty much are done.
You're done.
Fishing was so tough on the first day, we ended up targeting bluefish.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of bluefish around the bridge, too. And that was actually, I mean, we don't usually target them, but that was a really cool bite. We got in them. There were bunker or menhaden, whatever you call them, around. Like Mark said, there's multiple common names for every one of these fish. They call sheepshead convict fish here.
Convict fish.
Because they have black and white bars. Anyway. But other than the bluefish, like, we struggled to find a bite.
Yeah.
And we ran all over the place, and we spent quite a bit of time sheepshead fishing, but we did some high-low rig drift fishing as well. Just not great. And then we had a day where we were blown off, a wind day, couldn't get out on Monday, and then Tuesday, Caitlin, Hunter, Mark, and I went. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a super windy day as well.
And we went because it was Hunter's last day. Hunter had to go home midweek, and he wasn't going to get out again. So it was kind of like sitting here at the house in the morning looking at the waves like, well.
When you try to look at it and go, okay, the wind forecast is it's going to set down at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's 7 o'clock till we get our gear together and get out there. And they used 10 o'clock liberally.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was 11, I forget. But it was more like 1 till it actually set down. And I will say, I've never been out on rougher water.
It's bumpy.
At least not in a boat.
You can find an Instagram reel about that one. Check it out.
Mike had a really good reel idea that we did, and you can see it on Instagram. And at one point, Caitlin was I said to Caitlin, you don't really have to worry until I start reaching for my life jacket. But
She probably said, where are the life jackets?
Yeah. Figured I ought to know.
But we tried. We spent 2 hours trying to get. So the wind was blowing south at, I don't know, 20, and waves were 2 to 3 feet. They weren't horrible, but the timing is where it gets bad. It was like 1 to 2 seconds, which means from peak to peak or valley to valley, from one valley to the next valley of a wave or one peak to the next peak, you have 1 to 2 seconds. If it's 2 to 3 feet in 4 to 5 seconds, that's pretty manageable.
Right.
And so we tried like the dickens to get out to where we could get behind it. The fourth island is the northernmost island,
right,
from where the tunnel comes out onto a bridge. And we thought if we could get out there, we could get behind the waves and have some protection.
And we would have. If we could have.
Yes.
If we could have, yeah.
Yeah, but we got to the last mile and a half, and it got really, really, really bad. And it was the angle that the wind and the waves were coming from the bridge made it difficult.
And the tide was really running out, which meant if something happened, if the motor quit or anything happened, you were immediately going to be sucked into the bridge, which can be really a dangerous situation. Yeah. And, you trust a wind forecast, but you trust it cautiously because, you get out there and instead of laying down, it can get worse.
Sure.
And, at that point, it's probably a 6 or 7 mile run out there.
Yeah, I'd say.
On average, how fast is the boat running out there on an average day?
The first day, we were out there in 15 minutes.
30 miles an hour.
but we were going.
Well, we left. We tried to run on plane. That was immediately clear that wasn't going to happen for us. And then, then we were trying to sort of manage to go as fast as we could. And eventually it was like, maybe we should troll, which we never, ever do here. We never troll.
Right. We ended up dropping to like 10 miles an hour.
4 to 6.
We ran at 10 for 9 to 10 for a while. And then she's correct. We switched to trolling, and then that was 4 to 6.
Yeah.
Trolling speed.
And we did get a few bites trolling.
Bites, yeah.
Probably all bluefish, or mostly bluefish.
Probably all bluefish, but you never know.
But we never caught a fish.
No.
Doing it. And like you're saying, we got like a mile from where we wanted to be, and it got to where it was like, I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that happens there is where the bridge is, because of the structure, the sand mounds up, so you get weird shoals and channels.
Yep.
And so if you have a 40-foot section on one side of the bridge, and then it goes up to 10 feet, you create waves.
Right.
And yeah, we just decided this is not safe any longer.
Some people might say we chickened out.
I believe Hunter would say we chickened out.
We chose discretion, is how I like to think of it.
We saw like several dozen boats on the water that morning, and none of them were at the bridge.
No, they were all anchored up cobia
We
fishing.
were the only ones.
In fact, we got past those boats and thought, this is a little strange. And there's
Yeah, we were the only ones out there.
Yeah.
There was nobody out there. So we turned around, we trolled back in. We got back in the general area where there were a lot of boats cobia fishing. It was starting to lay down, but not yet to where we wanted to turn around and experience what we had just come back from. And so we're like, well, I don't know. You can fish that, you can drift fish a high-low rig anywhere.
Yeah.
So we kind of got on the edge of a shoal. I don't know if that one's Latimer Shoal or
Cabbage Patch.
the Cabbage Patch.
Cabbage Patch.
I thought the Cabbage Patch was a reef. Anyway, we
They
got
call that area where
the Cabbage Patch.
Cabbage Patch.
So we got on the edge of that in like 15 feet of water. Caitlin, I don't know how long were we drifting?
15 minutes, maybe.
It was not long.
Yeah.
It was kind of one of those things where we're like, okay, let's see what the drift is like. Let's get tackles together to go out to the bridge.
Because it was looking like, okay,
Yeah.
it's going to lay down and maybe now we're going to be able to turn around and run.
It had started to get better.
Right.
And so it was just kind of like, here's a rig. Let's just drift while Mike and I work on gear.
Well, there's not much for the first few minutes. I hadn't felt any bites at all until I finally did get a hit. And somebody told me I did a great job of setting the hook, but giving it the beans. But the fish gave me the beans really fast.
Man, I saw the bite. I saw the bite on your rod and I saw your reaction to it, and you really let that fish have it, or as Rachel likes to say,
Give it the beans.
But that was one of those where sometimes, you have a moment where you think, oh, I must be stuck on the bottom.
Yeah.
And we'd been drifting long enough that I knew it was pretty sandy anyways. But there was no doubt that was a fish.
no doubt. And unfortunately, one of the things that happens when you're drifting, particularly on a windy day, is sometimes your line, in this case, your line was sort of running back under the boat a little bit.
Yeah, almost 90 degrees.
You would think like if there's no wind, you'll drift with the current and your line will just go out, in front of you or whatever, away from the boat. And in this case, that wasn't happening. So the fish immediately ran under the boat,
Yep.
which I thought you did a very good job of getting your rod down and not having your line rub off in the boat, because you hook the fish and it's just immediately screaming drag.
Right.
And every time you hook a big fish down here like that, one of your first thoughts, or one of my first, what's one of your first thoughts when you hook a big fish like that?
It's a ray.
Yeah, I'm always a little bit worried that it's going to be a big ray. They're cool fish. I love them. But they're kind of a pain in the butt to fight. We don't eat
The
them.
bigger issue for me with them is they're really hard to get hooks out of.
Yeah,
To do it safely for you and the fish, it's really difficult to get a hook out of.
right. Very hard, especially if there's any amount of waves,
Mm-hmm.
So, but we were kind of like, wow, that thing really took a huge run and
Yeah.
had some head shake.
So we had to fight the anchor. Mike was running the boat. And I said immediately to Mike, like, you're going to have to run the boat.
Yeah.
And the fish, and so Caitlin got it to the front of the boat and got it around the anchor. And
we weren't at anchor, just to be clear.
Yeah,
Mark's anchor hangs off the front of the boat.
Right.
It's always there.
There was a 2-foot stretch where I needed a little help getting around the front of the anchor, and Mark was there to help me with that because it had gone, the angle was so hard.
Yeah, it was.
That once I got to the front, like, it was pulling hard enough that I felt like I couldn't reach out far enough and maintain and not fall in.
But then once we got you up on the front, we got clear of the anchor, and I was able to spin the boat around to get it to where the fish is running away from the boat, and you're able to stand on the front and fight it. And it was a fight.
Once she got the rod up in the air on that side of the boat, I saw the head shake. And that's, with a ray, unless it catches a wing from a weird angle where it's pulling on your line a little bit, and even that's different than that head shake that you get when it's not a ray.
Right. So I don't know, how long did you fight the fish?
Maybe 5 to 10 minutes.
I think longer.
I think it was longer.
Yeah,
it took maybe 4 runs.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think maybe at minute 10 we saw it.
I think it took 3 or 4 runs before we saw it. I guess.
Yeah.
And then we saw it. And I think Hunter said, "Oh, he's not done," and then it took off.
And what was he?
A red drum.
Big one.
Really big one.
A real big one.
Yeah, a real big one.
But we finally we managed to boat him. We got him into a net that was not quite big enough for a fish of that size. And you remember the measurement?
44 inches.
He was 44 inches, which we didn't have.
My scale wasn't working. I couldn't get my scale to work.
No, Mark's scale quit him in the moment. It's always something, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. We estimated him 35 pounds.
Yeah.
Giant.
That's fair.
Bull redfish.
Really cool.
Super cool fish. And that is another one of those things here that it's, that's interesting about this place is that you can just catch a giant. I mean, I don't know that to a local that would necessarily be a really big one.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a nice fish, period, but, I don't think
they get 60 pounds.
Right.
I mean, they get double that size. I've never seen one. I've seen close to 40, or Matt's was a little over 40.
Matt's was a little over 40, yeah.
So.
And absolutely beautiful. Got him back in. He kicked off. You can't keep them. There's a slot limit for redfish. They're pretty good to eat.
They're very good to eat.
You can only keep them, is it from 18 to 26?
I believe that's correct, yeah.
So this one was way too big for that. But I don't know. What'd you say about the fish, Galen?
Fish of a lifetime.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the redfish of a lifetime. I've caught one 25 years ago now in Cape Hatteras from the beach that was probably not that big, but in that same class. And that's how I've always felt about that one. Gosh, lay your hands. I mean, we fish for them in Texas and, we catch puppy drum, we call small redfish puppy drum, the immature fish that are in here in the surf sometimes. And, and they're super fun to catch and I love them. But, if you've never caught one over 25 inches, like this is just it's a whole different fish almost.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Like you said, maybe not for somebody here, it wouldn't be, but the number of times we get out here and get to fishing.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it'll ever.
Did it hit the squid or the minnow?
The minnow.
Yeah. I don't know. So cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
And that, I think one of the things that always happens for us here is that there's a couple of fish that stand out.
Yeah.
And it's not, we don't always know what we're doing. We don't have local knowledge. You know what I mean? We don't know how to fish every set of conditions that we get. Sometimes we get lucky and we have great fishing. I think more often than not, we grind it out and try to figure it out. And, I don't know if it's the grind or just getting lucky, but
there's a lot of factors too that go into when and how we fish that maybe wouldn't be, there's tides you want to look for. We're fishing the time we can with dealing, obviously we want to be back here with the family too. We don't want to be out 12 hours a day.
Right.
So.
And we're getting older.
They're only saying that because their spouses are sitting here with them.
No, I get tired.
You do get off the boat and you still feel as though you're on the boat hours later.
That's for sure. And then that was such a great fish. We did end up running back out to the island. Hunter fished high-low rigs out there while we tried to target sheepshead again.
That's when he caught. That was the first Spanish mackerel I've ever seen caught
on a high-low rig. Yeah. But we caught a handful of fish, but we couldn't find a sheepshead. Didn't catch a flounder. Tough. Just kind of, I don't know why, but, if this is a time of year thing, if we just managed to hit some kind of lull in the fishing or what, but.
You did hear a local woman talking to another local woman that their husbands were saying that the fishing was also slow.
Yeah, I did. In the grocery store, they were chatting about it. Like, she was like, has Daryl been out? Like, no, not really. There's not much around right now. So I don't.
There you have it.
Yeah. But
and that day, Matt and Poppy did go to what we call the inner bridge. There's a bridge. When you get onto the Bay Bridge-Tunnel, there's a short section of bridge that goes over to a protected wildlife island before it hits the main span of bridge. And that's more like the tidal coastal water stuff.
They caught a bunch of flounder that day.
They caught a bunch of flounder, a couple keepers.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like there were some flounder around in that inside water. I never got there to fish for them. So then the next day that we got out, we took the kids, right?
No, Wednesday, Rachel, Poppy, you, and myself.
And Robert.
We went out to the bridge.
Oh, yeah.
That's when we caught some oyster crackers.
We did. We loaded up on the toadfish. Who caught the big one, Rachel? Did you catch it?
Mark did.
I caught a giant.
Man, that was a monster.
Yeah.
Citation.
Gross.
I still want to try one.
Rachel and Mike did some science experiments that sullied my boat.
We did?
Apparently, if you poke one in the belly, they poke.
Oh, that was Rachel.
That was. I really wanted to see how squishy it was. Turns out it poops all over the person.
Man, it really pooped everywhere. It's quite the defense mechanism.
If I held you up by the lips and poked you in the stomach, you'd probably poop too.
Definitely made me not want to poke another one in the belly.
No,
I know that.
We learned that lesson.
And these oyster toadfish, there's some debate about how good they are to eat. We've never eaten one. We let them all go.
I've watched a guy on YouTube who swears that they're the best things ever fried. So, what's not good fried? But we just haven't tried it yet because I think there's something about if you get a fatty part of it and not the fillet or something, like it's not good for you. I'm not really sure. So I just haven't done it yet because I don't trust it.
They have some poison or venom in them.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to look that one up. I just feel like there's so much like urban legend. You know what I mean? There's fishing lure or whatever you want to call it.
It's probably the locals who say that because they want to keep all of them for themselves and they're really delicious.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of people throw them back.
They sure look complicated to clean.
They clean them. They clean them like we used to clean puffer fish.
Yeah, they skin them.
They're like a catfish.
Right.
They bite really hard too.
They are, well, and that's what I wanted to say. It really is an animal that is like a mouth.
Yeah.
And like everything else is just there to drive the mouth.
If you don't know what we're talking about, look it up right now. It's hideous. And
in fish biology parlance, we would say that like they have a huge gape size. Like their mouth can almost open as wide as their body is long.
Swallow themselves.
Yeah, right.
They really tried.
And they call them oyster crackers because they literally eat shellfish and their jaws are powerful enough to crack the shells. And Rachel, does it hurt if they bite you?
A little bit. You'll bleed all over the place. It bit me like a dog.
That was the first one you ever handled, right?
Yeah.
Like years ago.
Yes. I will now get nowhere near it without a hook disgorger unless someone else is holding it and I'm poking it in the stomach.
Yeah, you don't. They are mean looking fish.
They really are.
And then I got a Spanish mackerel, and that flung blood everywhere. So there was just poop and blood all over the deck of your boat. And you were real upset that we didn't rinse it down right away.
Quite the show.
Blood is a pain to get out of a boat once it dries.
Yeah. So that was, I mean, that day was relatively uneventful too.
Mm.
Except.
No, that was the next day.
No.
What?
Mikey got the big feels. Oh, Mike got the big feels.
Call me Mikey again.
I don't know why.
On air.
I told him I hate being called Mikey, and he hasn't called me Mikey in 40 years, and now all of a sudden
it's like an earworm. I can't get it out. I'm trying. I apologize.
It's because you told him you don't want to be called Mikey.
I know.
Mike got the big feels when he lost something.
What happened?
You hooked into a fish.
Oh.
You thought you got snagged.
I did hook into a big fish, and it was probably a ray, because I thought I was snagged and it didn't move, and then we started trying to reposition the boat, and then it took off. So it probably was a ray, but it also fought a little like it wasn't a ray once it started fighting. I don't know.
You'll never know.
We'll never know. That's part of the mystery.
Mike needed a minute after that.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to go stand in the back corner of the boat and look at the ground.
I had that happen yesterday.
Well, yeah, so working through the week then, we had a really fun day where we took the kids. It was the four of us and CJ and Robert. And we tried something different, right, Mark? So talk about that other fishery that's going on here right now.
So one of the big things in June in the Lower Bay is Cobia, which is a really cool fish. They're really delicious fish. They're kind of, they're cool.
Shark-like.
They're shark-like, catfish-like. They have what I would call like pelagic eyes almost. You know, they're known for hanging out with the big rays and the big sharks, and they do catch big ones here. You know, big ones here. 60 inchers.
Yeah,
when I say big, and so. I've only ever we've picked them up a couple times, and there's guys who all they do is drive the bridge on a tower and sight fish for them. There's guys who chum for them. The only time I've ever come down here and we had any success, we chummed for them. And I said, you know, look, the bridge is kind of dead. It seems like we're not finding fish on the bridge the way we always do. Let's just go see what happens if we take some chum and put it out. And so we went out and chummed. You and I had that conversation. It's not like I decided that alone, but and yeah, I mean we didn't catch any cobia, but we got into the sharks with the kids.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
We got into sharks, and there were also a lot of whiting or sea mullet on the bottom that you could easily catch, like just with a piece of squid. So there was something to keep you entertained.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we caught. Did we land 4?
Yes. I actually just checked my video footage again. There were 4 shark, three shark regular. I guess they were dogfish, probably.
I don't know what those are. I don't think they are dogfish. I think there's something else.
Okay.
I always thought they were black tips, but I don't know. There's so many species of sharks, and there are some species you can keep and eat and are very good. But man, you got to really know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then Mike.
Well, yeah. So one of the ways we were anchored up cobia fishing with the chum bag out, chum bucket. You're a chum bucket, Mark.
I was gonna say that.
You chum bucket.
And so we were running some baits on the bottom, some cut bait and crabs and
Eels.
an eel or two on the bottom. We tried a little bit of everything, but we also took an eel and put it on this sort of it's a breakaway bobber. It's like a bobber with a clip. It never comes off the line, but if a fish pulls on it, the line comes off the bottom so that the bobber can slide. And we'd caught a couple sharks and
Almost a seagull.
oh yeah, we did have a seagull swing down and pick up the eel that was on that bobber at one point. Started flying off with it.
Lucille.
But Mark, I think Mark or one of you said that you saw a fish like back there somewhere.
Caitlin and I.
And I hopped up and was standing on the gunnel, and we had the rod and an upper rod holder on the top of the T-top. And all of a sudden, like there's a fish back there and things are happening and oh man, got it. And the bobber's moving and we're like, this is obviously it's a cobia.
And I saw the fish on the surface swimming after the eel, and I thought immediately like that was brown. The fin wasn't the same as a shark fin, a normal, black tip or whatever they are, shark fin. Like that's a cobia,
right? So I grabbed the rod, I dropped it back, free-lined it.
We're getting all the other lines in.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of pandemonium when
right, and set the hook, got the fish on. Oh man, this is awesome! Fighting the fish. I'm like, I saw it a time or two. It looked brown. I was like, that it's definitely a cobia. What was it, Keelan?
A hammerhead shark.
We think it was a juvenile scalloped hammerhead shark.
Our Instagram poll thinks it's a smooth head, but
Oh,
just based on the pictures. But I think, were you saying that you didn't think that species was up here?
it doesn't. It's very rare. I mean, it's very rare for all the hammerhead species to be up here.
yeah. Well, check it out. I'm pretty sure it's not a bonnet head. I'm pretty sure it's a hammerhead.
I don't think it's a bonnet.
Caitlin caught a pretty big bonnet, not a big bonnet head, but a 4 to 5 footer in Texas, and it had a very distinct bonnet, like
a shovel head.
yeah. Spade shaped head. But go over to Instagram and check it out if you're listening to this. Totally new species, absolutely. Yeah. And man, that thing was not. He was feisty.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He did not like being netted, but we did we did net him and we got the hook out of him quickly and got him back in the water in just a few seconds. But really super cool fish.
it was a cool fish.
Yeah. And then unfortunately we never did land a cobia. We fished for quite a while. But we saw a few rays, but we never caught a ray and we never saw a cobia.
Right.
And then yesterday was our last day to fish, and just Mark and I went out because I think everybody else thought we were crazy because it was quite windy.
Yeah.
It was windy on the same order as it was.
We didn't even try to get on plane.
No. But one of the nice things about here and all these types of fishing we're doing, part of the reason we took the kids out chumming was that day the wind forecast wasn't perfect either. Wasn't like flat calm, at least not when we went. But we only have to go about a mile, maybe a mile and a half out of the boat launch at Chesapeake to where we're fishing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's close.
Right.
It's, not like, well, if we get out here and this is a train wreck, we can just turn around and go back in. It's not some big commitment. So we went out and it was very bumpy and we got everything set out. We went to a slightly different area about a half a mile away from where we had been the day before.
A little closer, there's a channel marker that a lot of guys like to fish, and we were one of the first boats out there, so we got a pretty decent spot.
Yeah. And we were out, what, Mark? Maybe like an hour to an hour and a half, and it was on the outgoing tide.
Yeah, I think the tide was shifting a little bit. I think we got there just as it started to run.
Yeah.
And I hooked into a big ray.
Yeah, and luckily that ray kind of ran. It kind of came up relatively fast and stayed out from the boat.
Yeah.
And when it came up, I was clearing lines, so I didn't see it. But you said immediately, there's a cobia behind it. There's a cobia behind it, which, like you mentioned earlier, they are known for doing, for following those sharks and rays around. And the one thing that I give us credit for doing right was we had decided that we were going to take an eel and just hang it right off the side of the boat so that if we saw a cobia, we had a live eel already hooked and ready to go, because we'll often take some eels or a big jig to fish for cobia when we're out at the bridge so that if we see one, we have something to cast to it. But like with an eel, if you see the cobia and then you're trying to
hook an eel,
find the rod and hook the eel and do all the other things, the opportunity is gone. So in this case, we had it.
Yeah, a lot of times till you get a rod down, even if it's rigged with a bucktail or swim bait, like till you get it, it happens fast.
Right.
So we were prepared.
Yeah.
For once.
So you had the ray on. I grabbed the rod with the eel. I didn't see the cobia anymore. I saw it for a second when you said it was there. I was looked like, oh yeah, I see it. But ran to the other side of the boat, grabbed the rod, came back. I didn't see the cobia anymore. You still could.
Yeah, and I was 99% sure the minute your eel hit the water that cobia turned.
Yeah.
I saw that fish flash and make a spin underneath the ray, but I didn't want to say anything because I was like, and then
When I just threw the eel out, free-lined it, bail open, like, well, see what
whatever
happens.
happens.
And I was like, oh, I didn't see the cobia anymore. Ray's still out there. Like, what? Dang it! And then I was like, man, this eel is coming back to the boat fast. And then it like got back to the boat and it's below me, and I'm like, well, I got to reel him in. And it like closed the bail and started reeling. I'm like, oh shoot, what's going on here? Like, and then it was the cobia had the eel and was diving under the boat. Like, oh man, we got a cobia on, and we already had all the lines cleared.
Yeah,
you broke the ray off actually,
Yeah.
because we wanted to fight the cobia. It wasn't a giant battle. Cobia ended up being 37 inches, so a nice one, but they have to be 43. They have to be as big as Caitlin's redfish before you can keep them. So, but super cool. I've always wanted to catch a cobia. I've been on the boat when one was caught, a smaller one than that. But I got my cobia.
I was really hopeful. That was like one of my side missions for the trip. Was I was really hopeful for you to get your first cobia.
Yeah. Well, so I feel like Caitlin and I had this huge luck this week. We both caught bucket list fish for sure.
Yep.
And then I don't know, Mark, we caught 4 or 5 more rays. Fish. That was probably at what? 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning we caught that one.
Yeah.
And then at about 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah, we said we were going to fish till 2. I would guess it was probably 1:45. Well, I would say 1:30-ish. No, it was probably 1:45. We were the water had clouded up, and but boats had started coming and running around us, kind of, and we could see a clear line where the water went from silt to clear, and so we kind of just waited and like, well, this is the fish like to swim on those lines, because then they can see. And sure enough, within 2 minutes of that silt line going past us and the water getting clear, you're like, Mark, there's a cobia on the back. Like, there's a cobia there. He's on it, on one of the float rigs.
Yep. We had 2 float rigs out yesterday.
and it was on the forward float rig, and it was windy, so we were getting bows in our lines, and it was a little hard to see. It looked like he had gotten into the one in the back. And I think you tried to reel it in, but you grabbed the wrong rod.
Yeah, I did.
And
I got excited.
And then I was given the fish. I should have opened the bail. Because the fish was pulling on the drag. I had the drag reel loose, and he ran probably 60 yards.
I don't know. He ran pretty far. He held onto it for a while. I thought we had him.
And yeah, I did too. And these are circle hooks that we're fishing with. So the way they're designed is the fish can eat the bait. You almost want them to eat the bait, and then you just put pressure on the fish, and it hooks them perfectly in the corner of the mouth.
Don't set the hook,
You don't
Caitlin.
set the hook.
Caitlin had a
You might have to tell me 100 more
hard
times.
time with that.
And then, yeah, I don't know if by that point he had felt the hook in its mouth and was chomping on just the eel. But when I set the hook, it just popped.
Yeah.
It just felt like the eel popped off to me.
Yeah. And it was a bigger fish.
It was
It
definitely
might
bigger.
have been a legal fish.
It was definitely a bigger fish. Would have been pushing legal from what I could see.
And then like 5 minutes later, we had another one come in and hit the back eel. And that time I was on the rod, and I don't know. I felt him. We have a bait clicker on that rig, which is, they're supposed to be able to pull against it and not, it doesn't provide enough tension that they'll drop the bait. But I don't know if he felt that or what exactly happened. But I felt him, but then I opened the bail and he dropped, and he must have already dropped it. So that's pretty much it. We got 3 bites and caught one of those fish, but we added cobia to the list of species. I added cobia to my lifetime list, and so I don't know. It was not a great week of fishing, but it was a week with some great fishing moments.
Yeah.
And it was super fun to be together. I really enjoyed, having Robert and CJ in the boat together. And they both kind of started out a little bit whiny at the beginning of being out, which is a little unusual even for Robert. And then they both absolutely 100% turned it around and were kind of absolutely into it when we were catching sharks and stuff. And
they enjoyed the sharks, and I think just when Caitlin and I would hook them whitings to reel in, that definitely helped cure the boredom.
Yeah, we probably caught 40 or 50 whiting.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we took better whiting gear yesterday. And if they could have gutted it out, which I mean, the first hour and a half, we anchored up and I set the chum bucket and I thought, oof, I am unwell. I hope I don't puke in my boat for the first time.
Weren't you both feeling that, but too afraid to voice it to one another?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You don't admit defeat until it happens.
Right. I was just thinking I might get sick, but I'm going to try to stick this out because the cobia really helped.
Yeah.
I think it did. So,
Yeah.
You catch one, then you're like, okay.
But man, I mean, they could if we could have had the kids out there, they'd have caught 400 whiting yesterday. Yeah. I mean, it was not even.
No.
Yeah.
No, and I did that first day, the day we were out with the kids. I caught a little flounder, so I caught my flounder for the trip. It wasn't a big one. I caught a sea robin, which is another interesting species I haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, we used to catch a lot of sea robins and a lot of puffer fish. I don't know the last time I've seen a puffer fish.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one on the boat yet.
It's just interesting. The fishing, I feel like, is always evolving here, and certainly some of it is warmer water. I think it's warmer here than it used to be. But yeah, it's just these, species that you used to see all the time. And sea robins are a good example. You used to catch them regularly, and now, caught one all week.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's the first one I've seen caught, and couldn't even tell you.
Yeah.
Now, and some of that is we were fishing in a different area. They like a sandy bottom.
Yeah.
Where, we're normally around structure.
Right.
But, I mean, I will say, and I've said this 1,000 times before, and you guys have all heard it, but it is amazing to me. We live within 6 hours of one of the very best fisheries in the world. As far as if you want to catch a big redfish, you want to catch big stripers, you want to catch big black drum, you want to catch big cobia.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just big sheepshead. I mean, this is just an incredible fishery.
Yeah, and we did. Matt fished regularly from the beach here at the house. He walked down. There's kind of a point of rocks down here, and he was catching a flounder or two every day right here. A lot of times, later in the year, those puppy drum and some other species will be in close to shore. We did have one of the cooler wildlife experiences that we've ever had down here too, right, Kaylin?
Yeah, that was as memorable as anything else on this trip with the dolphins coming in right at the house.
I mean, and they were they were 10 feet off the beach here, probably 6 or 8 dolphins, right?
Yeah, I would say that many.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just put on a show. They were here for a while. It wasn't like they swam by. It was like they were doing all kinds of stuff, rolling over on their bellies, and it was really, really cool. Memorable week.
Fun.
We got some cool drone footage.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just awesome. So thank you guys for, being part of it.
Yeah. Anytime.
Thanks to Matt he found the place and rented it for us, locked the house down, and it was really awesome to have Kate and Jed and Annie here. And of course, me, Mom, Poppy, Mom made a bunch of food. She made 17 pans of cornbread throughout the week.
Of which Matt ate 15.
He likes cornbread.
He does.
One of the things that always impresses me is also that Matt's kids, who are now older, Hunter and Grant, college age and older, are still wanting to come down and be part of it every single year.
Yeah.
It's just great to have everybody together.
It really is. So thank you guys. Thanks to the whole rest of the family.
Yeah.
I will continue to champion you guys coming for a couples weekend, fishing weekend.
Yeah, you can thank us by coming back down.
Week, not weekend. A couple days, whatever. We're flexible.
Days, yeah. All right. Well, I guess we better wrap this one up. You guys got to get on the road, and we got to head back to Baltimore.
We got to go put garbage somewhere.
Yeah, we got to get rid of garbage. Thanks, everybody, for listening. As always, you can find all of the content on the website, www.outdoorruhls.com. Rachel's managing the socials over there, so all the beautiful pictures are thanks to her on Instagram at Outdoor Ruhls. And, you know, what we really love is hearing from people, so send us an email, outdoorruhls@gmail.com. Thanks again, guys.
And we might have some swag available coming up.
Oh, yeah, there's some new swag around, so we'll get some stuff up about that, too.
Email us if you're interested in some T-shirts, hats.
Yeah, we got hats now. Cool hats.
Yeah.
Look at the pictures. We've been wearing them this week, so a lot of the pictures have new swag in them.
Yep.
All right. Love you guys.
Love you too.
Yeah.
Love y'all.
Hunting and fishing, the great outdoors, mixing history, laughter, love, and folklore, creating memories with family and friends. These are the trophies that matter in the end. Outdoor Ruhls.